Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now today's video will be more of a quick review, I'm hoping. I was thinking to do a rapid fire review, that type of video, on some fragrances from Rogue Perfumes. Now if you have been watching my channel for a while, maybe you've heard me mentioning Rogue Perfumes in some of my videos, especially 28 flavors. I feel like that fragrance, I've mentioned it in so many of my videos. That's a dupe for Vanilla 28 by Kayali. But yes, now in case you haven't heard of Rogue Perfumes, they are a brand based in the UK that offer inspirations, but they also have some unique creations. But I feel like what sets them apart is they offer amazing inspirations for different designer fragrances on one hand and also niche fragrances. Now when we are speaking about niche fragrances, I feel like what makes them stand out even more is the fact that they offer inspirations for some lesser known niche fragrances. Maybe I will mention some in today's video, but I will see. Now I have here some decants. I've tested them all multiple times, you guys, but I will pick randomly in today's video, and I think I will talk about 5 or 6 fragrances perhaps, and then in other videos I will discuss the rest of the fragrances. So yes, now let me talk a little bit about the brand for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I will move on into discussing the fragrances. So the brand, I told you, it's based in the UK and they offer inspirations as well as unique DNAs. I have here some decants that are unique creations from them and also some that are inspirations. Now one thing to know about them, all their fragrances come in 3 types of concentrations. You have a fragrance oil, then you have a fragrance that's marketed as an eau de parfum, which in some cases I feel like it acts and it behaves like an extrait de parfum, if I'm being very honest, meaning that it's extremely oily, extremely condensed, strong, dense, decadent, that type. And they also have fragrances that come in an extrait de parfum. So yes, the oils come in 12 ml, the eau de parfum comes in 70 ml. I don't have near me a fragrance to show you, and they also have extrait de parfum, which comes in 50 ml if I remember correctly. So let me choose randomly a sample. Let me choose, okay, Jewel of Kuwait. Oh my god. Okay, so we're starting strong, you guys. This fragrance, I remember the first time I've tried it. When I test fragrances that I never heard of, I don't like to look at the notes, because I feel like on a subconscious level it might influence you. Like if you read, I don't know, like iris, you might look for the iris, you know, instead of letting your nose and your brain and your creativity, let's just say, pick up the notes. So when I was testing this fragrance, like I've mentioned, I didn't look up the notes and I was not expecting the fragrance or this fragrance to smell the way it does. This is all about oud. If you're a lover of oud, keep this fragrance in mind. But when I mean a lover of oud, I don't mean someone who, let's just say, likes to dip their toes into the oud world every now and then, or likes oud mixed with, I don't know, gourmand notes, for instance, like Shagaf Oud from Swiss Arabian. Let me check to see if I have, okay, the mic is on. Okay, the mic is on. So this is, to me, this is all about an oud accord. But oud, again, you know, if you have tried a handful of fragrances with a prominent, dominant oud accord, you know that not all oud accords are done the same, and not all oud accords / real oud in fragrances smell alike. Now, let me tell you the type of oud accord you have here. Okay, so this fragrance, to me, so if they have used an oud accord, chapeau bas, like hands down, this is one of the most realistic oud accords I've ever smelled in my life. Now, I don't have such a good nose to be able to tell you, oh, this is real, this is an accord, especially when it comes to these types of oud accords. To me, it smells like the oud you have in Ajmal's Mukhallat al-Shams. Yeah, it's that exact oud accord. So it's a little bit, see, it's that type of oud accord, but it has a richer, woodier undertone, but it's a little bit animalic, a little bit sour, a little bit acidic. It's a little bit, not a little bit, it's a lot, you guys, it's a lot, like, but it's a beautifully done oud accord. The oud is quite pungent, you guys. It has this kick about it. It has this animalic undertone. So it's not an oud accord that's beginner friendly. I wouldn't recommend you this fragrance if you are just starting out to explore with oud fragrances. Only if, let's just say, you kind of want to, how to say this in English, like to train your nose. This is what I wanted to say. If you want to train your nose, it's worth getting a decant of this fragrance to experience what this kind of oud accord adds to a fragrance. Now the oud accord kind of overpowers all the other notes. I think it's the main spotlight of the fragrance, like it's the main attraction in the opening, in the heart, and in the dry down. I do pick up gentle accents to the Oud Accord, something a little bit irisy and powdery. But I feel like this facet only will get to shine a little bit later. At this moment on, it's just the Oud Accord I'm smelling. Think of this fragrance as a distant cousin to Mukhallat al-Shams from Ajmal, like I've mentioned. It's a very similar Oud Accord, but I feel like it's a little bit less pungent than that. It's a little bit more polished around the edges, but it has the funk, you guys. This is not an Oud Accord that's been cleaned around the edges. This is not an Oud Accord that leans medicinal. This is not an Oud Accord that's like your Cambodi style of oud. To me, again, from what I have tested so far, and I'm no expert, keep this in mind. This smells royal, this smells opulent. See, as I'm smelling this fragrance, I still pick up that funk, that pungency. It has a kick, this Oud Accord. You know, it's not an Oud Accord that's mellow. It feels like it hits your nose, but not in an unpleasant way, meaning that it's sharp, it's poorly done or anything like this. No, it hits your nose in an opulent and royal manner, you know. Yeah, this feels royal, you guys. This feels like that type of fragrance that's expensive, that's opulent, that's decadent, that's royal. I myself wouldn't wear this one as a standalone fragrance. I feel like I kind of want my sweeter notes to give a little bit of something to the Oud Accord, but it's a very well done Oud Accord. And again, I'm saying Oud Accord, but if this is like real oud, I don't know. But if it's an Oud Accord, like kudos to them, chapeau bas. This is such a realistic Oud Accord. Wow. Like for someone like me, that's tried a handful of fragrances with oud, but I'm again no expert. To me, this comes across as real oud. Yeah, with all its facets, all its complexity, all its subtle nuances, you know, you have them here. Yes, now I pick up the richness of the woody accord that starts to shine. It's like a Hindi oud mixed with a little bit of something from a Cambodi oud, if you ask me. But I feel like in the opening, it's more of the Hindi oud that dominates this fragrance. So yeah, again, I haven't tried the original fragrance that this is the jewel of Kuwait it's inspired by. But I can tell you, brilliant fragrance if you want something with oud, but not beginner friendly at all, you guys. Now, this is more or less a linear fragrance. Like I've mentioned, the oud is the spotlight. The Oud Accord does change a little bit as the scent evolves on your skin and here on paper as well. But it's not like a very crazy development. It's not the kind of fragrance that smells one way in the opening, a different way in the heart, and a completely different way in the dry down. No, this is all about oud. Oud in all its glory, in all its facets, in all its forms. This is oud for sure. All about oud. So yeah, bold, royal, opulent, confident, decadent. I wanted to say you need the balls to wear this fragrance. You do need the balls to wear this fragrance, but you also need the attitude, you need the confidence to wear something like this. Again, you need a proper outfit if you ask me, because this is quite a formal fragrance. This is not the kind of fragrance I would imagine with like a sportswear or anything like this, you know. No, this with a suit with, again, beard trim, hair trimmed, everything on point. This is like the cherry on top that exudes or highlights even more this powerful demeanor in men or women. As a woman, I do appreciate what it did, but I would layer it with other fragrances. I don't think I would wear this fragrance as a standalone fragrance. So next fragrance, again, I have all of them here and I will just choose randomly. Let's go with this one. Mango Delicieuse. Delicious. No, I think Delicieuse because it's in French. So this is an inspiration to Mango Skin from Wilhelm Perfumery. I don't know why Wilhelm Perfumery, it's a tongue twister for me. Now, this fragrance and Mango Punch from Paris Corner, they are like day and night. They have nothing in common. If you've tried the fragrance from Paris Corner, you know it's an inspiration to Mango Skin from Wilhelm Perfumery as well. Nothing in common, like absolutely nothing in common. Yeah, this is a very interesting mango scent, you guys. It highlights a mango accord, but the mango is not the only spotlight of the fragrance, let's just say. You definitely have mango, but it will not linger up until the dry down, and you have different accents to the mango accord that add, again, different dimensions to the mango accord. So if you are looking for something that's only mango, from the opening till the dry down, Mango Fugoso from Paris Corner. You can find samples of these fragrances and decants of these fragrances and of a lot of other fragrances on Dubai Collection. Feel free to check them out. if you're interested. And if you're based in European Union, I think you can find them exclusively on Dubai collection. So let me spray this fragrance. This is quite a projecting fragrance. Yeah, I did 2 sprays and I'm already able to smell it everywhere. Yeah, this, you guys, this is for the summertime, spring and summer to me. Autumn, winter, not really. No, but spring and summer. This opens up with a mango accord, like mango peel, that bitter, sweet, ripe mango peel that's very flavored, sweet, with something a little bit bitter behind. You have it here as well, with a beautiful citrusy accent on top. Now, to me, the citrus, a fusion between lemon and bergamot, something like this. So it's a little bit acidic, a little bit sparkling, a little bit zingy, you know, and it adds this beautiful vibrancy to the mango. So the opening feels full of dimension, full of life in a way. It feels quite explosive, very vibrant, like I've mentioned. This feels like a very saturated fragrance, like full of life, full of color, you know. Yeah, and this is sweet. It's sweet from the mango, for sure. It's sweet from the citrus, even though I don't think the citrus is a gourmand citrus by any means. It's more of a vibrant, zingy, acidic citrus. You do have this gentle, tangy undertone about it. I don't know, in my mind, think something like a blackcurrant, you know? So it's a little bit green, a little bit tangy. That makes your mouth pucker, you know? You have a little bit of this flavor or this essence here as well. And I pick up the smell of powdered sugar. So imagine how all of this would play into this composition, while the mango is the highlight in the opening and in the hard part. In the dry down, you kind of lose it, like I've mentioned. Yeah. And as I'm smelling this fragrance, I can tell you that it feels very around the edges, borderline dewy aquatic for some reason. Not in a blue way, not in a marine way. It's not a blue aquatic, not that type. No, it feels like you have some aquatic dewy florals here. See, I had moments when I was testing this fragrance, and I remember I used to pick up a gentle woody accord in the background. Yeah, I don't pick it up anymore. I don't know why. Now I pick up a gentle powdery sugary facet. It's almost like you sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on top of a mango peel that's very ripe with a little bit of something citrusy. It feels, how to describe it? So it feels bright, it feels full of life, it feels again very vibrant and saturated and energizing in a way, but at the same time, it feels clean. It has something clean, like clean and polished about it. Yeah, beautiful fragrance, very beautiful fragrance. If you are looking into trying something like this, I would highly encourage you to try it. Again, very different to Mango Punch. Sorry if you hear my cat. Very different to Mango Punch from Paris Corner. Like day and night, nothing in common, nothing in common. Now, how am I supposed to be serious? And this in spring, in summer, this is very beautiful. It feels elevated while maintaining something a little bit sweet. All this while highlighting also mango accord. So yeah, I think this is one of the most beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful fragrances I've tried from Rogue Perfumes. Now, moving on to the next one, because I don't have a lot of battery left. This is an inspiration to, can you guess? Another pistachio fragrance that's inspired by Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali. So many fragrances and so many brands, you guys, are making inspirations of Kayali fragrances. Interesting to say the least. So this is called Fistique Magnifique. Now, this is, I feel like, the 4th fragrance I've tried that's inspired by Yum Pistachio Gelato. So I've tried Hair Pistachio from Paris Corner, I've tried Nisma from Arabia Prestige, I've tried Lashes from French Avenue, and this is the 4th, yes, Fistique Magnifique from Rogue Perfumes. So let me spray it. Now, right off the bat, if you're a man and you wanted to rock this DNA, this to me is the most quote-unquote unisex one. Yeah. Yeah, see, this opens up quite fresh, spicy, refreshing in a way. You have here a beautiful cardamom accord that's highlighted. So you have this spicy, refreshing touch from the cardamom in the opening. And overall, the scent feels quite airy, quite bright, quite light, quite, like I've mentioned, refreshing, a little bit green because of the cardamom. And I do pick up the pistachio scent in the background, but how to imagine? It's almost like you walk in an ice cream shop and you have here, like, for some reason you have 2 flavors. That ice cream shop only has 2 flavors. You have a cardamom flavored ice cream on one hand with like freshly grounded cardamom beads on top, you know, like freshly grounded cardamom powder on top. And the other flavor is pistachio. And as you get in, it's pretty cold, you know, to keep the ice cream intact. And you smell the cardamom flavor, you smell the pistachio flavor, but the key is you smell them in the air. This doesn't have the thickness, the body that, for instance, lashes have. So the pistachio here doesn't feel nutty and rich, you know, it doesn't have that nutty undertone. It feels quite airy. This is why in my mind it's like a flavor of a pistachio ice cream. Yeah, and it will get sweeter, not in the opening. The opening is the least sweet part, I feel like. It will get sweeter as it develops. The pistachio will move forward and it will become a little bit sweet. So you have the sweetness from the pistachio, a little bit of sweetness from a vanilla accord. It does get a little bit denser and a little bit creamier, but I feel like this is the airiest of them all, and compared to the other fragrances inspired by Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali, this is the least sweet. So keep this aspect in mind. Now, minus Hair Pistachio, because I feel like the fragrance from Paris Corner goes through a bit more of a development, you know, it kind of takes you on a little bit more of a journey until it settles into the DNA of Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali. So I feel like that gets the sweetest in the dry down. This, even at its sweetest stage, it's still less sweet than Nisma, than Lashes, than those fragrances. Yeah, beautiful fragrance, you guys, but because I feel like it's the fourth fragrance that I'm trying in this scent profile, and because knowing me, I love my sweet fragrances, I think this is not the one for me necessarily, you know. However, if you love, like if let's just say this is your die-hard scent profile, like it's your signature scent, it's worth at least getting the oil so you could layer it either with the OG fragrance, if you have the OG fragrance, either with any other inspirations. And also if you're a man and you wanted to rock this DNA and you were looking for the least sweet version that still has some sweetness, keep in mind, this is it. So yes, moving on to the other fragrances, okay, so this is Nectar Oud. Oh guys, this is quite a heavy hitter. So this Nectar Oud, this is strong, you guys. This is very strong. This is inspired by a fragrance from Maison Crivelli, the one that's with passion fruit and leather. Oud Maracuja. Oud Maracuja, Oud Maracuja. Oud Maracuja, I think it's pronounced. Let's see how the fragrance smells like. So like I've mentioned, I have smelled Oud Maracuja, Oud Maracuja, Oud Maracuja, I think it's pronounced, isn't it? I have smelled it and it smelled very beautiful, you guys. But for my liking, let me tell you how I would have preferred the leather to be done. So I would have preferred the leather. I don't mind the leather, but I would have preferred the creaminess to be a little bit more amplified. So in a way, it would almost feel like it would envelop the leather. Yeah. Now, back to Nectar Oud. So Nectar Oud opens up with three things, you guys. On the first spot, a leather accord. The leather is a funky leathery accord, ultra realistic, very nuanced and full of facets. It's dry, it's that old, it's not like, it's like an old suede leather jacket, imagine, you know, or like a very old leather jacket. It's like your granddad's leather jacket, you know, that was passed along in the family, let's just say. Nobody wears it anymore. Everyone keeps it for sentimental value. And it's quite funky by now. This is how the leather accord smells here. So the leather feels quite unapologetic. This is for leather lovers. And then you have the oud accord right in the background. Now the oud accord to me, it's like a rich woody type of accord, you know. You have the richness, the body of a decadent woody accord that supports the funkiness of the leather, and they are in such beautiful harmony with one another. Not that it means that they are wearable, because they are wearable only if you have a taste for this kind of fragrances, but in a way they build up on each other, like they emphasize each other even more. So it results into an opening that feels decadent, that feels statement, that feels loud and definitely ultra unapologetic. And then on the third place, I feel like I pick up the fruity accord. I pick up something like a passion fruit that's sweet, a little bit creamy, paired with something like an airy citrusy touch or something like this. Yeah, a little bit of vanilla perhaps. Now, even though this is all about leather, I feel like it's on the first spot, like I've mentioned, oud right behind it, that emphasizes it even more. But let's just say that if you give this fragrance around 10 minutes, that funky, explosive opening, it will be a little bit more well-behaved, let's just say, you know. If the opening was loud, beast mode, untamed, wild, as the fragrance gets a chance to develop, it will be a little bit more well-behaved, but still pretty loud, you know, and untamed and wild. just a tad more well behaved. And I feel like the passion fruit does move forward, but don't think you have a lot of passion fruit with a little bit of leather. No, you have at least equally amounts of leather to the passion fruit. Now, if you are a woman and if you love a leather accord, you can rock this fragrance. For me, I love a leather accord, but for some reason, I don't know why I'm a little bit shy to wear such a decadent leather accord. If perhaps the sweetness was a little bit more amplified, I don't know. Yeah, but this is for the bold, this is not for the faint of heart. As this fragrance develops, in a way it almost feels like it opens up and you are able to better smell everything that went into creating this fragrance versus in the opening that was dominated by the leather accord and the oud. The oud takes a step back. The oud, like I've mentioned, it's that rich woody accord that adds this a little bit of funkiness, but it's not like a sour, animalic, pungent type of Hindi oud, for instance, you know. It's like a rich woody accord that's a little bit more funky-ish, but not too funky. Like I've mentioned, moves a little bit more in the background and it leaves room for the passion fruit to shine, and the passion fruit accord is done in such a beautiful way. It feels like this creamy tropical fruity accord that adds such a contrasting, fun, carefree, light-hearted and uplifting aura to the seriousness of the leather and the oud accord. This is such a contrasting fragrance. Like when I smell it, I cannot help but notice how light-hearted the fruity accord feels, how creamy, how fun, how uplifting, how girly, how giggly the fruity accord feels, and then how serious the rest of the fragrance feels like, you know? Yeah, peaks of patchouli are coming through here and there. And this is a rich fragrance. It's very dense. It's a very robust kind of fragrance, you know. It's not the kind of fragrance that feels thin or stretched out. No, it's the kind of fragrance that feels very concentrated and very dense and complex for sure. Yeah, you guys, this is for those who love statement fragrances, men and women. I could picture this fragrance on a man. I could picture this fragrance on a woman. I think it all comes down to the attitude. Like, I'm imagining if a woman would be in the mood to wear this kind of fragrance, she's in a mood like, she's perhaps in a bit more of a bossy mood that day for some reason, or a bit more of an assertive mood for some reason. I would struggle to imagine like you would feel very girly and feminine and you would reach for something like this. No, this is the kind of fragrance that screams, or not screams, because it's a refined fragrance, don't get me wrong, it's not that loud, you know, fragrance. No, it's a very refined fragrance, but it exudes this air of seriousness, somehow, of this confidence, like, don't mess with me. This is the energy this fragrance gives me, like, don't mess with me. I'm a little bit sweet, but don't mess with me, because then that assertive side will come out. Yeah, I haven't worn it myself. I am curious and I am tempted, but I think I would layer it with a jasmine wisp, because for me, the leather and the oud, I don't know, I would prefer a little bit more sweetness to come out, or a little bit more creaminess to come out. And this is what in my mind, if I would use this one as a base and I would apply on top jasmine wisp from Rasasi, but on a night out. This to me needs a night out, like, yeah, a night out with your best friends, you're just enjoying life, you know, you're feeling very bold and daring and confident, but at the same time you're in your energy. Yeah, 1 spray or 2 or 3 sprays of this on top, and on top of that apply jasmine wisp, because the creaminess, it's almost like it will hug the leather accord, so it will not feel as serious, you know, it will feel a little bit more mysterious, if anything, to me. So yeah, next fragrance, let's see. I think, okay, so I don't have a lot of batteries, so let's continue. Okay, so this is Crem Caramel. Let's continue with this fragrance, and I think this is the 5th, and maybe I will continue with the others in the next video. Now, this is a unique creation from the brand, and something very interesting I've noticed with this fragrance. This fragrance, depending on the temperature that you try this fragrance or you wear it, different notes come out. No, it's like the same notes come out, which is the caramel, but depending on the temperatures out, you either pick a chestnut accord or you don't, at least from my experience. And they also sent me the oil of this fragrance. So this fragrance, yeah, this is a very interesting fragrance. So it opens up with a caramel accord, not the caramel that comes across as like a caramel syrup in a way, like for coffee, for hot chocolate or anything like this. Is not that type of caramel that's ultra edible, but it's like a creamy butterscotch type of caramel accord to me. I feel like when it's ultra hot outside, either during winter temperatures when you have the hitting on, for instance. Either I'm imagining, because I didn't get a chance to test this one in the hottest days of summer, but I'm imagining when it's very hot, either in your house or outside, you pick up more of the caramel accord, that rich creamy butterscotch type of caramel. However, when it's a little bit more chilly, let's just say now in spring, I can pick up the smell that comes across to my nose as like a chestnut puree. You know, there's that dessert that's legit like a chestnut puree, and it's like I think boiled chestnuts and then mashed and a little bit sweet. You add, I don't know, maybe a little bit of sugar. Yeah, to me it has something reminiscent of that. So it's like you mix chestnut puree with a butterscotch caramel. And I feel like even though the notes break down, have a lot of things going on, because for this one I have actually checked the notes. So even though you might be tempted to think that it goes into all of these different directions, no, you guys, to me, these are the two highlights of the fragrance. These are the two pillars of the fragrance. The chestnut puree on one hand, that's a little bit nutty, sweet and very chestnutty, you know. And then the caramel, the butterscotch caramel. To me, the sweetness, even though it's sweet for sure, but it doesn't come across as sickly sweet. It doesn't come across as juvenile by any means. Keep in mind, it's more of a simplistic fragrance, like a simplistic, straightforward fragrance. You know how usually if you have, let's just say, an oil made around the vanilla accord and you use it for layering purposes. You have something made around a fruity accord and you use it for layering purposes. You have something made around caramel. This could be your something made around caramel if you have a taste for that. Yeah, again, for my taste, I feel like I would prefer to use it layered, if anything like this. If anything, I don't know if I would use this one as a standalone fragrance necessarily. So in my opinion, for my taste, the oil is much more versatile in this situation, because you could layer it with legit so many other fragrances. You could even layer this one with Think Eclair by Lattafa, Lactea Divina from Paris Corner, Blanche Bête if you have it, you know. It would add this beautiful, moderately sweet caramelly accord with a chestnut puree. Yeah, now, should I do another one? Let's do another one, because I have a little bit more battery left. Let's do, this is such a beautiful fragrance. I don't want to rush it. This is Tobacco Rose. This is such a beautiful fragrance. Nah, I'm not gonna do it in today's video. This is a very beautiful fragrance and I genuinely want to take my time with it. Maybe let's do a more simplistic fragrance. Okay, let's do First Wife, the extract version. Now, something I want to highlight when it comes to Rogue Perfumes. The majority of their fragrances that I have tested, for instance, where is this one? Nectar Oud. I have here the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. This acts and performs like an extrait de parfum. Yeah, 28 flavors. Again, a lot of them are very rich and decadent fragrances, you know. Now this one, even though this is an extrait de parfum, I think it acts more like an eau de parfum if you ask me. Yeah, you guys, this is such a cutesy fragrance. This is such a girly fragrance, you know. Such a simplistic, straightforward, girly, bubbly, feminine fragrance. Yeah, I think this is a good one to close the video with, because it's not overly complicated. Tobacco Rose, I want to mention it in the next video, because that's such a beautiful fragrance. Yeah, so First Wife. First Wife is gentle, it's soft, it's feminine. Like if this would be a season, it would be spring, because it has this beautiful airiness throughout the composition. But let me describe you how this fragrance smells like. So this opens up with a red fruity accord. It's a little bit muted, but it's that sweet and sour type of red fruity accord, you know. It has a little bit of sweetness, it's fruity, but it's also a tad sour. So you have this red fruity accord with a beautiful, like dewy, aquatic almost undertone in the background. And again, not aquatic in a blue way, aquatic in a mocktail way. Like if I would have to put this fragrance into a scent family with other fragrances, I would definitely put this fragrance in the same scent family with Aaron Sparkling Lychee from Kayali, Aaron Juicy Apple from Kayali, or a Kiss of Rose from Khadlaj. These kind of fragrances, or fragrances that highlight a fruity accord, that feels a little bit dewy and aquatic almost, that feels also sweet at the same time, with a little bit of vanilla, with a beautiful, gentle, airy, musky facet that will linger throughout the development, and you will maintain this lightheartedness, breezy dimension to the fragrance. A gentle, very designer-esque woody accord, and some cleaned around the edges, polished white florals. I'd say this is the fragrance. Yeah, it's a little bit red fruity, a little bit sweet, a little bit vanillic, a little bit airy, a little bit musky, a touch powdery, a touch woody, you know. yeah, so in the opening, I'd say is these are the fragrances that would be distant cousins, let's just say, to first wife. And then in the last bits of the dry down, it reminds me a lot of a fragrance from Ahmed El Maghribi that's called Lean. And Lean from Ahmed El Maghribi is an inspiration to a fragrance from Lacoste Parfum. So yes, if you have a taste for this kind of fragrances, or perhaps let's just say you have someone in your life whose birthday is coming up perhaps, and you wanted a fragrance that legit, there's nothing to not enjoy about this fragrance. Like the fruity accord is not too dominant, the sweetness is not too dominant, the musky accord is not too dominant. This is that balanced, made to be liked fragrance, if you ask me. Very designer-esque kind of DNA, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like everybody has their taste, and these fragrances come in handy, especially if you want to gift a fragrance like this to someone you don't know exactly that person's taste, or you want to go on a safe route. This is that safe route. Like I could wear this fragrance even though I don't typically have a taste for this kind of fragrances. I could wear it, my mother could wear it, my partner's sister could wear it, my best friend could wear it. You know, it's that kind of fragrance that is nothing, like it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but is that well done, simplistic, straightforward, easy reach, grab and go, feminine day-to-day fragrance. And again, depending on what you are looking to add to your collection, this might raise your interest or not, but as a standalone fragrance, like I've mentioned, simplistic, straightforward, well done, nothing to complain. Softer, keep in mind it's softer than some of the other fragrances that I have tried from this brand, but I think this is also because of the notes. Yeah, because it feels quite bright, quite light, quite airy, like I've mentioned. This is everything I wanted to tell you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I have to close off the video because my battery is about to die any minute now. If you have tried any fragrances from Rogue Perfumes, share your thoughts on this brand in the comment section. It's for sure a lesser known brand that deserves much more attention because they have beautiful fragrances. If you are curious what's my favorite, 28 flavors, that's the best, if you ask me. That fragrance, I feel like I want to have it in my collection forever. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to shop these fragrances, full bottles, decants, oils, samples, why not? Make sure to check them out on the Buy collection. Feel free to use my discount code, feel free to not use it. Like I've mentioned, this was supposed to be a rapid fire review. I don't know how rapid it is, but we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, but until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys.